Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another fabulous Ask an Engineer. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory in West Soho, downtown Manhattan. We are now in sort of the shipping-ish, receiving-ish area.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking a tour. But it all kind of looks the same.
Yeah, in the snowpocalypse region.
Yes. You can see a lovely box of plushies right here.
Yeah.
So pick up a plushie so we have less boxes of plushies in the middle of the receiving area. We have an exciting show tonight.
Yes,
all sorts of stuff. We had a great show and tell. Snakes. Tell them what's on tonight's show.
Tonight's show, the code is Snake, in celebration of...
Year of Snake.
Year of Snake. It's Chinese New Year Eve right now. We'll go over the show and tell. We had some awesome participants once again showing cool stuff. We are going through another round of weather. It's happening. Post office going to not have Saturday deliveries anymore. Talk about the 25th anniversary of Circuit Cellar. We've got a table. We have necklaces for
Valentine's Day.
Jobs board. Some stuff from our staff. They built some cool stuff. AdaBot was made into a plushie. We've got mailbag. We've got community corner. We're going to have some scenes from the Adafruit factory. We've got Time Travel Tuesday. We've got the Adafruit Learning System. We've got Wearable Wednesday, 3D Thursday, Pi Day, tons and tons of new products. MOSFET will make a video, appearance.
Yeah. Not live.
All that.
But not dead either.
Yeah, all that and more on Ask an Engineer. Okay.
Pre-recorded MOSFET.
Yeah. Pre-recorded. He's not too far from here.
In front of a live studio audience. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. First off, the code is Snake. The reason for that is 2013 is Year of Snake. And Chinese New Year is actually a holiday that I think everyone in electronics is aware of because basically everything shuts down in China. If you make stuff, you probably interact with China in some way. It's just shut down for how long?
Like 3 or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks. So it's a holiday,
like
nationwide holiday.
Last week actually was the beginning, and then usually stuff doesn't open again for another week or two.
Yeah. So 2013. This is a graphic that everyone has. It's because the O is the snake. That's kind of clever. And 2013 is Year of the Snake. So for Year of the Snake, it begins on February 10th. That's just in 2 hours. This is the Year of the
Black Snake.
Yeah, Black Snake. It's meant for steady progress and attention to detail. Focus and discipline will be necessary for you to achieve what you set out to create. The snake is the 6th sign of the Chinese zodiac, consisting of 12 signs. It's intuitive, introspective, refined, and collected of the animal signs. So the history is the snake is great because it means that you have food in the house and you're not going to starve.
Okay.
So.
Yay for snakes.
Yeah. So.
I like snakes. They're kind of cute.
Very cool. So 10% off everything in the
Snakes.
Adafruit.
No, everything in the store.
Yeah, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store that's in stock.
That's in Snake.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Next up, the show and tell. We had some awesome stuff in the show and tell. Lady Ada, why don't you talk about some of the projects?
Okay, sure. Ken Olsen showed up to start as the appetizer, and he showed up his ATtiny85 Arduino programming shield thingy with like jumpers. And that was cool, and we got a little bit of a demo of how he's created this shield for internal development. Then Dan Olsen appeared, and he had a internet-able Arduino garage door opener with like a video webcam and stuff and things and buttons, and he can control his garage from afar. And then Becky Stern, Director of Wearable Technology here, showed a not out yet, so don't ask project. It's the LED backpack turn signal Flora thing. She's got LEDs. They're blinking on this backpack.
It's an accelerometer. This can be a cool project, by the way. This combines all the things that I like about Flora, that it's small, it's a wearable, you can control LEDs with it, it has great accessories. It's going to be a cool project.
Yeah. Next up, Michael had an update on his RC Arduino card that has a Wi-Fi router attached to it, but this time he just showed off his new headlights. Good LED headlights.
Yep.
We also had, what's the name of the fellow with the AT-AT?
Oh, Raymond. Yeah.
Raymond Bloom showed up with his AT-AT again.
Yeah, it's a home protecting AT-AT. It's a Lego AT-AT that's been completely modified. It's laser, has sound, has everything.
Voice recognition.
It's really cool. Remote control.
Yeah,
this is what you want Lego to be. This is
That
like
would
the
have been much
future.
cooler if it had sold that way, not just like it walked.
Well, I think now that we've been in the maker world for about 10 years now, when you look at what people are doing now, it's what eventually is going to be commonplace. So Lego is going to have to do this one day. You're not just going to get a Lego.
I don't think AT-ATs originally had lasers, but they should.
Maybe they just didn't turn them on. They had to have lasers, though.
Yeah.
No, they had the little things underneath them. So they had lasers.
Okay.
Lasers, weapons.
Oh, yeah. Bleep, 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 bleep. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Not the X laser, but still, I mean, close enough.
Yeah. And so...
His cat likes it, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm a little doubtful that his cat likes it.
It's a home security bot, so if there's motion or something, it'll alert.
Most cats do not like moving robots, but maybe he's an awesome cat. Ethan came back and talked about some projects he's been working on. He's been in school, probably, which is why you haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, Tesla coil.
He has a Tesla coil he's building.
It's intense. It's really neat.
He's building some sort of copter, balloon, GPS.
The show and tell is up on, it's being compressed and uploaded to YouTube as we speak right now. But check out some of the clever things he did, because one of the things I like is, so he set it up so when the Tesla coil's off, you can plug in things to it like a light.
Yeah.
So you can work on it, because Tesla coils are always in the dark. It's
true.
Very clever thing, and you could just do it.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he also built a geocache box for a friend of his.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I think we didn't forget anybody. George, who does our video recording. Thanks, George. Had a CNC bot that he built from plans, and it's sort of like an MDF built CNC with just like a huge ass motors, and it's going to route some wood. He's going to kick cases, and he drew an Adafruit with a pen, and it's slow, but whatever. That's good, because if you're doing big routing, you want it to be a little slow. Yeah,
these show and tells are starting to turn. I think it's kind of a glimpse of the future of what'll be.
We will all have
what everyone just has, like
security AT-ATs, LED backpacks.
The Arduino garage door opener with camera and temperature control. I think that's going to be standard issue, because garage door openers are kind of dumb. They've been the same forever. I had one, and you press a button, it goes up and down.
Up and down.
And everybody always asks, oh man, is there anything you can make that'll just let me know if I left my garage door open on accident? Mm-hmm. So Internet of Things garage door opener, that's a company right there that people could start. So anyways, I think these are interesting glimpses into the future of what will be common. Every backpack should have LEDs that light up based on how you want them to, maybe changing direction, or you program it via your phone or something like that. All this stuff. And every Tesla coil should have a plug in it so you can work on it in the dark when it has lights. I don't know about that one. I think Tesla coils maybe will always kind of be for the adventurous out there.
Yeah, I like how he's like, I sent stuff into near space, and now I'm just gonna zap stuff on the Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
From the stratosphere to the street, the show and tell. Okay, all participants on the show and tell will receive as seen on the show and tell, sticker. Email support@adafruit.com if you've been on the show and tell and you want a sticker. Worldwide.
What?
We send these worldwide.
Yeah, we'll send them anywhere.
Yeah, we do. Okay, Lady Ada, how do people get on the show and tell?
Super easy. Go to the plus.google.com/plus Adafruit account. Look for the post where I say, hey, show and tell time. Comment here to be added to the show and tell circle, and do as that post requests. And then you'll be invited into the circle, so every week you can show up in the show and tell.
Okay, one quick programming note, because I think Ask an Engineer now,
Snowpocalypse.
Well, you can always kind of, everything just goes up on the internet now. It's not we don't put stuff on servers, we put them on keepers. So one day in the future, I think people will be able to look back and see, man, we're just getting hammered with weather in the East Coast. So we had Sandy, right? And we had a hurricane before. And now we have this snowpocalypse. So, because a lot of people emailed and said, hey, are you guys safe? Because the weather reporters...
Actually, wasn't that much
It wasn't
snow
that
here.
bad. The weather reporters, they really spin people up. But so it wasn't that bad. Everything was plowed here. New York was perfectly fine. Not a lot of stuff got shut down. It wasn't like...
The worst things happened when people were like, oh, I'm going to go drive on the expressway at this time, and they got trapped.
Yeah, so in New York, it wasn't that bad. Other areas did get hit really hard, but New York this time wasn't as bad as Sandy and some of the other weather things that have happened.
No, I don't think any property was completely destroyed.
Not in New York, but in other areas. So, anyways, for the folks who asked,
if there's a snowstorm, don't go out in your car.
Yeah. Okay. News. Time to get to news, Lady Ada. Postal Service announced. This is big news. This is news that it's not going to affect us yet.
We send packages, not letters.
We send packages, and so priority mail will still, I think, good on Saturdays. But this is a big deal. This is the end of an era. The Postal Service is not going to deliver letters on Saturdays. They've got to start figuring out cost-cutting things.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be the thing that saves them, but they have to start somewhere. So they're going to try to get this passed through Congress, I believe, because I think it says that they can't do that.
Yeah, they have to. I think there's like so many laws about the Postal Service, so it's going to be interesting. But no more letters on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough because they legally must deliver to every address.
it's part of the deal.
It's part of the deal. That's really hard because it's easy to deliver to Florida and California, and New York, like all these cities. The cities in these states, but it's tough when you're okay, in Wyoming you have to deliver to
see, kind of like a really big list of people in this industry contribute to Circuit Seller.
Yeah, there's some writers I know. I mean, unfortunately, I don't keep up on all the writers, but there's some writers I know of here, and it's good stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots to read. It's a nice, bound, large, not just like a thin.
Yeah.
There's Arduinos in it, which is kind of fascinating. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
So this is kind of funny because historically it's been not very Arduino friendly.
Well, it's been more chips. It's just been you're building to get the Arduino functionality. You're kind of building it from scratch.
Yeah. I don't know where my article is. It's somewhere in here.
Yeah, it's in there.
Anyways,
you're the one.
Wow,
You're the one with pink hair.
Future. I'm in the future, but they actually did a lot of Arduino projects in here, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, check it out. There's you can always get really good ideas from reading Circuit Seller. It's a very good idea factory.
Yep. Okay. Next up, big company news here at Adafruit. We have a break room table.
Table.
Yeah. So this table is from Counter Evolution. We ordered it a while ago. It's made from bowling alley wood. Mm-hmm. So when they tear down bowling alleys, so it's recycled wood in Adafruit black. It was stained black. And this is our conference table and our break room table. And this is kind of a big first for us because we have room for this and we have more people now.
Yeah, we might actually get 2 tables.
We might have to get 2 tables. So that's it. It's a really cool company. Check out Counter Evolution. We like their stuff. We might get another one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next up, it's Valentine's Day coming up soon. Here's some cool photos that John Junior took of the eye necklace. This is 10% off right now. If you use the code SNAKE.
We just put some in stock.
Yeah. I mostly like to show John's photos, so this is a John photo thing. All right. So check it out. Adafruit Jobs Board this week. Production and Operations Manager for Voltaic. One of our favorite companies to buy stuff from. They make the fantastic solar panels.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a really cool job for a company that...
I think it's here in New York. They're in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and Voltaic Systems, you would be responsible for sourcing, negotiation, production management, quality control, logistics, shipping, inventory management, accounting, and forecasting. Cool
big job.
Gig. They put this on our Adafruit Jobs board. We only let the good jobs through. We look at each one, and Voltaic's a great company. So if you're looking for a job and this is up your alley, this is it. Next up. This is a photo from James. He works here at Adafruit, and he just worked on a really cool lighting installation, and he used a lot of the Adafruit gear, of course. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to just show a little quick clip of what he did, because what's neat is our employees, we always say they're like triple threats. They can sing, dance, and act. A lot of people here, they do great work at Adafruit, and then they also are multi-talented in they're doing things elsewhere.
Yeah.
So James does lighting for bands.
Rainbows.
He's also in a band. But here's a quick clip from some lighting that he did using Adafruit stuff. And this is Rah Rah Riot. And what type of LED strips would you use to do something like that?
Yeah, those are the digital LED strips that we have in the store. And he used our code base and a bunch of Arduino micros. And each micro controls it's pre-programmed with patterns. Mm-hmm. And then they get commands to run the patterns. So they're actually a little bit intelligent. Yeah. And then it uses I think DMX or USB over DMX. Actually, I don't know exactly the details of the code because he wrote it. But it's a pretty like intense project, and that's actually a pretty big display that he has to control. So he actually has a microcontroller for each stick or plane, and wrote the code for that, and it's controlled by a laptop, and it's I think using either Pure Data or Max. And then his friend George, I think, helped him. I think George designed like the software and protocol stuff, and James did the fabrication. He was doing a lot of fabrication.
Yeah.
It's a little stressful because it always is. Because it's like, I hope nothing breaks, but he finished it in time.
Yeah. Okay, next up, last week on the show and tell, someone made an Adabot plushie for their friend's kid, and there was a delay with the YouTube posting because it makes the video automatically and uploads it and posts it.
But it didn't automatically because they're so cute.
Well, maybe there was too much cute in it. But the person who made it, they put a post up on the Adafruit Google Plus page, and just get ready. You're gonna get a cavity because this is so sweet. Here it is. This is the homemade Adabot plushie with the kid.
With the baby, 6-month-old.
Yeah, and this is the cutest thing in the world.
Plumpy baby.
Yeah. So the reason I like this is because this was kind of the goal of Adabot. There isn't, besides Adabot, a robot out there that's kind of like a friendly robot that's like, that's not scary. So this is one of the things, and it's really neat to see Adabot kind of getting out there and people doing cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was fun. Next up, mailbox. Packed the mailbag. Reads,
I have to thank you for responding so quickly to my question. They delivered the other day, and now I have my part, and it works great. My lab will certainly purchase from your site in the future.
Okay.
Thank you,
so
Ryan.
We take in all people email us all the time,
Ryan.
And we put this up in the mailbag section every single week. So check it out; it's on the site.
You want to be featured in mailbag? Send us a letter.
Yeah. Next up, Google Plus communities. We have over 41,000 people in the makers, hackers, artists, and engineers section, and it's not Adafruit, branded. We just wanted to have a place for everybody who likes to make things to put stuff online. So this week, here's a video from Matt, and it's an overview of all the stuff that people are doing in the Google Plus community. Check it out. Okay.
Why on earth would anyone make a flying thing that also walks? I mean, like it'll come after you.
Yeah. So that gives you a taste of what's going on there. It is active, and when these things first start, there's some kinks to work out, and we keep an eye on it because there were spammers, and we get rid of them really fast. And it's all kind of settled down, and now it's just all like artwork and robots and cooking,
robot garden,
and everything.
I like that there's a lot of art and drawing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like drawing and painting, and then somebody comes in, it's like, here's my Geiger counter project.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's some more watercolor. I like that.
Okay, next up.
Good mix.
Yeah, we have some stuff from our fabrication area. So Bacon, we call him Bacon here, he just made his first synth. And his first sequencer, and he used a bunch for his synth, and he used a bunch of Adafruit stuff. Also on the Adafruit factory tour, here's our LED tester.
That's an LED tester. I was showing those LEDs.
Yeah, here is Flora when it was first coming off the assembly line. Here is our new oven that we recently got, and here it is. We just recently moved some stuff around. Here it is in action. And in future shows, we'll broadcast at different areas. The reflow oven is over there, and we'll do a show where we're over there. And then we have some testing of some screens. And then, Lady Ada, maybe you could talk about this one. This is the hot air, and then the...
I think, yeah. So the hot air, I think, is... I didn't write this post, but I'm guessing that when we pick and place stuff, we have a very good vision system on the pick and place, but sometimes it slips, or sometimes... if the chip isn't quite square or if it gets bumped a little bit, or depending on how it gets heated, the chips might twist, and so they don't make good contact, so they don't pass test. So instead of throwing it out, like this is, the chips are like $4 or $5 for these gyros. They're really nice chips, and so instead of just throwing it out, we often spend a couple minutes and just try to fix them. It's also good to have practice with the hot air tool that we have. So this is a hot air Hacko gun, and it's just you heat it up and then you give it a little bit of a poke, and then it should twist back into place. And then we test it using one of our Pogo pin bed testers. We use Arduinos as the base. For simple breakouts, we can make a tester in about half an hour.
Yeah.
And so, and it's great because it's easy. If something breaks, we can remake it. If we have to change the design, that's easy too. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Next up, every week we do a segment on the blog, Time Travel Tuesday. And on Time Travel Tuesday, what we do is we look back at the last 10 years of the maker world. And we have posts from places like the Adafruit site. So, of course, last year on the blog, it was all about Year of the Rabbit. Wasn't it?
2011.
2011,
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So last year was Year of the Dragon.
Yeah, it was Dragon, and then 2011 was Rabbit. And so we have so many of these now, I'm only picking a few. So 2011, we were celebrating Year of the Rabbit. 2010, this is when SparkFun started carrying the Minty Boost. That was the day that we announced it.
Huh.
And then in 1821, going all the way back, so we go way back.
Yeah.
With the Time Travel Tuesday, Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to earn an MD in the United States. 1821.
That's cool.
At first, they thought the application was a joke, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Then they accepted her, and then she graduated in 1849. Very cool. Okay, moving right along. Adafruit Learning System this week. Some updates in Adafruit Learning System. So
yes,
I'll go over the first parts, and then you go over the second parts. The first part. Well, the first. Well, no, you're going to talk about the tutorials.
First part, not my part.
So the first part that I really like is the Adafruit Learning System now has the shopping cart built in. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. So if you're using the Adafruit Learning System and you're like, oh wow, this is a really cool tutorial. I'd like to add all this stuff to my cart.
Yeah.
I'd like to get all this stuff. You can do that. And so here's just a couple screenshots. It has an add all to cart feature. And so it's basically like your own wish list of stuff if you wanted to build the project that you're seeing. And so you can add each piece. And if it's out of stock, you can sign up to be notified. And at any time, you can use your shopping cart. So those are the new features that we added, and we're always
trying to integrate everything together.
Yeah. And just one of the cool things that we're seeing is the learning site is the traffic is just exploding. And people are going there, they're learning, and they're like, oh, I didn't even know about Adafruit maybe. And they're like, I just want to get all the stuff. Oh wow, one click. And it's adding stuff to cart.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay. And then next up, here are a couple different things in the Adafruit Learning System this week that are new.
Yes. This is a tutorial by Simon Monk, and so we have these really cute little LCD screens that are TFT NTSC or PAL displays, and they work great and they're lovely, but unfortunately the NTSC out or the PAL out from the Raspberry Pi, I think it assumes you're doing like 640 by 480 or maybe 480 by 320. I don't remember exactly what it is, but you might want to instead of having it downsample it, which doesn't look as good, set the resolution to match the display resolution, and then you'll get much clearer text because it's not like taking it and averaging it and all that stuff. This tutorial shows you how to do that. So, for example, you can see it has it's running LXDE, LXD, I don't know, whatever, the X screensaver or the X window manager, and it's much smaller than like the standard size, so that you can actually see stuff much better. So it's a really great way to add a small display if you wanted a TD display. Yeah,
and that's Occidentalists, I believe, our educational distro.
Yes.
For Raspberry Pi.
So nice job by Simon Monk.
Yeah. Next up, updated tutorial.
Yeah, we updated our tutorial for the USB serial LCD backpacks that we put in the store. These work with our RGB LCDs, which is really great, and they have like full built-in PWM and contrast, and they're USB, so it's really easy to add to your computer, for example.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along here. We are zipping around. Wearable Wednesday, every Wednesday on the blog, Becky Stern puts a bunch of posts and projects up on the site celebrating Flora and all things in wearable electronics. This week I'm just picking out a couple things because we have a video. There was a neat tutorial on Instructables that uses the conductive ribbon. That's kind of neat. So check that out, and this is the stuff that we have in our store. John Janier has a cool photo of our wearable electronics area here at Adafruit. And then Becky has a video on this cool little sensor. So
Yep, it's our new accelerometer compass sensor.
yeah, so let's watch the video.
Welcome to Wearable Wednesday, folks. Today I am playing around with the new Flora accelerometer. It was really easy to connect to the Flora because all of the 4 pads are all in a row. That would be power, ground, and the I2C pins. And the conductive thread goes right through the holes, and then when I plug it into my computer and open up Arduino's serial monitor, the values from the sensor start pouring in. So I can use this to detect which way is north, as well as movement relative to gravity. So it's really good for motion reactive projects. And we're also working on an upcoming project that is for riding your motorcycle or bike, and it'll automatically detect when you're braking and turn on the brake lights, as well as some other cool features that you'll have to subscribe to see. The other cool thing about these I2C sensors is you can chain them together. So you could add on our Flora luminosity sensor and even something like our LED matrix backpacks and hook them all up to each other without using any more pins on your Flora. So I hope you have fun making projects with the new Flora accelerometer, and I'll see you next Wearable Wednesday.
Okay, 3 Thursday. So 3 Thursday, I'm picking out 2 things this week. One,
Okay.
I thought this is neat. There's this trend. People are printing out business cards in 3D. So the resolution is good enough where you can print out little 3D cube business
Oh,
cards.
with like 2-color prints?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other thing is we're tuning up. We have a replicator too, and this is the latest print. Matt brought this in, and see if I can get it to focus. Okay.
It's tough because it's so shiny.
Yeah, let's go to the
over there.
overhead. Let's try this.
Okay.
But he's tuning it up. It's going to be here shortly, and look how good this print is.
It's a really nice print. It's very smooth. I mean, it's this translucent material, so the detail, it's a little bit tough to really see what's going on because it's a little translucent. But it's super smooth detail, and there's no like blobbing or anything. He's doing a really good job tuning this up.
Yeah.
Very
What
smooth.
a spectrum of stuff we cover. When we started Ask an Engineer like three and a half years ago, I did not expect we would be like, oh, and here's just like a thing that's 3D printed out.
Yeah.
That we're just playing around.
Yeah, this is
Isn't that
cool.
neat?
Yeah, this is really nice. The resolution on the new replicators is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Does a very good job.
Okay. Sounds like the police are outside.
Hey,
So I guess we have to go now. Next up, we have Pi Day. So big news in the world of Pi.
we had a massive Pi Day, but we're only going to cover 2 things.
Yeah. Next week, look on Yahoo.com and ABC News. Lady Ada is doing an interview about the big announcement, which is
The Model A.
is shipping. So Model A, Raspberry Pi, $25.
Which we showed off. We
have, yeah.
We have 1 of 6. We have like the first one.
Yeah, here it is. Once they're available, we'll have them. And Lady Ada, what would you say is the biggest thing besides the $25, which is the biggest thing? What's the other biggest thing about this?
To get it to the price point of $25, they removed the Ethernet jack. You can see down there at the bottom right, there's no Ethernet jack. They also removed the Ethernet PHY chip, which is the silver square that's kind of middle right underneath the purple headphone jack. You can see there's a silver blob. So that chip is gone too. And then the USB port is a single USB, not a dual USB. So it's much thinner. It's lighter. It uses a lot less power because even when not transmitting and receiving Ethernet, that PHY chip does use quite a bit of power. So I think I did the calculations and it's on the blog. I believe it uses 250 milliamps instead of 500. I don't recall. It is significantly less.
Yeah.
Check out the blog post that I made a couple weeks or months ago to
Just
see
a little
the
power stuff.
details. Yeah, I did a video.
Very neat. Yeah. That's kind of the future. You do a video and then you can forget about it and you just have to watch your video.
Also, I think this only comes with 256 megs of RAM, not 512. But I'm assuming that that will get bumped up as RAM prices
Sure.
drop.
Next up, and the other big news is they announced or they show some photos of the camera.
Camera, yeah.
And this is the official Raspberry Pi camera. We're also
I want to
testing.
see that back again. Can you see
Yeah,
that
we're
back?
also testing a bunch of cameras that we know will work well. So, do you want me to zoom in on that a little?
No, that's cool. I just want to see if there's a driver chip, but it looks like it's just a
Yeah,
camera.
it's a little camera. So that's the Raspberry Pi news for the week. We do have one other piece of Pi-related stuff. The Adafruit Learning System Raspberry Pi Web IDE has a big video update. So every week Tyler has been doing a new video. This week I'm just going to show a little bit of it. Yeah, this week's debugger. I'm just going to show a little bit of it because it's a 4-minute long video and we got to get new products. But I'm just going to show the first part of it.
Okay.
So
Take it away, Tyler.
Let's go to the video.
Welcome back to the Adafruit Learning System Raspberry Pi Web IDE video series. In episode 1 we covered how to install and set up the Web IDE on your Raspberry Pi. In episode 2 we covered all the basic features of the Web IDE. In episode 3 we went over how to take advantage of the Web IDE visualizer feature. In this video, episode 4, we will run through how to use the very handy debugger feature. You can find all of the following code examples and wiring diagrams on the Adafruit Learning System. Go to learn.adafruit.com and in the search bar type in Debugging with the Raspberry Pi to find the correct guide. Then click on the Debug a Blinking LED page. If you haven't used a debugger, either on the command line or in an integrated development environment, hopefully this video will help you understand why you'd want to do so and how to effectively debug your code. Let's get started by wiring up your Raspberry Pi with the Adafruit Pi Cobbler using the following wiring diagram. You can use a resistor of any size between 330 ohms to 1000 ohms. Make sure the shorter leg of the LED goes to ground. Before we go back
Okay, and that's just a taste of the debugger. That gets you started.
Do watch the entire video because it's really cool because it shows off the step debugger.
Yeah.
And the step debugger is just an awesome thing that Justin Tyler added to the Web IDE, which is not part of Python automatically. Like they added quite a bit of work.
And we have visualizer.
And there's a visualizer, so like, yeah, we're going to be doing really cool stuff with Python and Raspberry Pi tutorials.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
I know that we've said this on the show, and I think we'll say it again every week. Imagine a world where younger kids, they, in addition or instead of a foreign language, they learn a computer programming language, and imagine if it was Python. What would the world look like in 10 years?
It would care a lot more about white space.
Yeah, it would. It would. But imagine if everybody thought that they could program stuff because they had that knowledge. Because they could just fix things. They could glue things together.
I mean, at first I didn't really like Python, but it is a very good language to learn with. There's a lot of really good examples. It's not, in my opinion, as clunky as Perl. It's not as esoteric as C or C++. It's not as bloated as Java. It's fast. It's interpreted.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy.
That's cool stuff.
I don't like the white space stuff, but whatever. Apparently I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
I don't like white space languages.
Okay. So, before we get to new products, don't forget everything we show you.
Snake.
The code is Snake in celebration of Chinese New Year. You're a snake.
Snake.
Yeah. So, let's go on.
Buy some kids. Snake.
Yeah, these lights are expensive. Let's go to new products.
Okay.
Lady Ada, it's new product time.
New snakes.
Okay, back in stock.
We have the Raspberry Pi starter pack
Without
the Raspberry Pi.
That's right. A lot of people have Raspberry Pis now, almost 1 million or more, and they just want all the parts.
Yeah.
And this is a great deal. So it's like an $89 deal for like
less.
Yeah, 60 something.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
But it's a good deal, and it comes with our case and stuff and power and adapter.
Yeah. Next up, this is
a massive book.
This is Paul and Simon's. Paul Simon electronics book. We just got this in the store. Practical Electronics for Inventors. This is a massive book. Covers resistors, capacitors, inductors, transformers, diodes, transistors, integrated circuits, optoelectronics, solar cells, photocells,
It's pretty
sensors.
big.
Yeah.
It's actually like I would kind of call this sort of like a Horton Hill but more modern and a little bit less mathy. There is math in it, but it's not as physicsy. You know what I mean? It's not a physics department. It's this EE department, and it is a big book, and it's kind of got everything in it, and it's a good reference text, and they kind of cover it all. And this has been updated, and it's very modern.
I think
I
think it's good.
It covers Eagle.
Yeah, I think it's good for a beginner. And I'll tell you the other thing. If you look on the Adafruit Google Plus page and the community page, you'll see reviews from people actually who do electronics, who you'll probably recognize from the show and tell and from the the Adafruit community who gave their review of this. They're like, oh, I just got this book. Here's my review. So do check those out.
It has a lot.
It's very handy. I think with like Amazon, for instance, the reviews are from just kind of general, like can come from anywhere. These are really specific ones in the community. So do look at those because they went over a lot of the stuff that's.
They do, and it's both very specific and it's also very general. Like they talk about servos in general, but they're not like, oh, this is the one servo that we're going to talk about. They talk about they'll talk about modern components, but in a good generalized way, so it doesn't age.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing worse than being like, here's this specific op amp that we're talking about, and the op amp is like discontinued because it's like some weird arcane part. They talk about all the parts you'll see without, I think, being really specific about like. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll talk about like a stepper motor, but they won't have like a specific stepper motor part. They'll be like, this is a unipolar motor, and this is how to drive unipolar motors in general. This
book, the Make Electronics book, and the Components book that just came out, we carry all three. Those are really, really good.
Yeah, I like this book.
Like this is the best time ever to learn electronics.
Yeah.
It was really awful.
Look, there's a section about open source hardware.
Yeah, they have open source hardware.
That's cool.
Okay.
Jumpy's in there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep moving along. We got these. We put these. This is an update.
This is an update. So we had these really great 7-inch HDMI displays, and now we've updated it because we realized for the same price, basically, we could get like a way better version. So this version is awesome. It has 1280 by 800. So it's basically actually the same displays used in a 7-inch tablet, high resolution, HD resolution, and it's IPS, which means it's full. It's essentially 180-degree vision. Like you don't get any weird polarity stuff. You can look at it from any angle, and it looks good. I mean, obviously, at a certain point, it's hard to see something because that's such an acute angle. But a really, really high resolution, very bright. Really good quality. The display used, I put the datasheet up, it's a modern LCD, it's only a couple of years old, so it's really bright, very high contrast. And it comes with a stand now, and it has quarter 20 mount on the bottom, so if you're using this for photography, you'll have quarter 20. You get quarter 20 on the side. It's got HDMI, which is what we really like. It also has VGA standard, and also NTSC or PAL. So now it has. We gave up the previous one had DVI. Not a lot of people use DVI. We thought if you're going to have 3 connectors, HDMI, VGA, and composite are it, and then you can power it from like 5 volts to like 20 volts or something. It comes with a 9-volt adapter. It's a little expensive because it's very high resolution, small display, but it is definitely worth it. This is a super, super sweet 7-inch display.
Okay. Next up, I like big buttons, and I cannot lie. I've been waiting all show to do that. So here's our giant buttons. These are huge, amazing buttons that John took photos of. There's an LED inside of them. We're going to show you the actual size in the overhead in a second. But look at these photos.
These are buttons.
These buttons. It's hard to tell if it's like a HAL computer family reunion or like what's going on here. So let's go to the overhead and you can show them off later.
Yes, I have them all here. So we have 5 colors of buttons, and these are they're big arcade buttons, and I've seen these in arcades for like things where it's like, oh, like whack the button before like the timer goes off or something, like little skill games. These are really nice big buttons, and but they use the same 3/4 inch. No, sorry, inch drill. I don't remember exactly what I think it's 1 inch drill hole, and you can mount it onto wood very easily. There's these little plastic things that you can, if you drill holes into, they'll sit in place and they won't twist, but like you can also just clip these off. They come with a standard micro switch, and so this is kind of the micro switch you know and love, and it has a normally open, so these 2 pins short when it's time for when you press the button. We have the multiple colors, so blue, white, yellow, green, and red. And then this one I took the switch out so I could. The switch is removable if you ever want to remove it. So I could show. Let me see how I open this. Yeah, so this is the LED holder. I took the LED out. Maybe I'll grab one with the LED so I can show it. But there's a LED that can go in here, and it can light up. Unfortunately, because it's such a shallow button, and the LED is like right here. It doesn't light up the whole thing evenly. Somebody might want to experiment if you're really interested. You can experiment with maybe stuffing it with some sort of tissue or something to diffuse it better. That might cause it to light up more evenly. I mean, I think the LED is kind of an extra. These are pretty nice buttons, and they're very vivid. So I don't think the LED is that essential. But so there's 5 different colors, so you can experiment with them. Maybe I'll try to remove this one. It's going to be a little tough to do. Hold on. Fortunately, once you like snap it in, it's annoying to remove. Okay, so remove the micro switch, and then yeah, there you go. So this is the LED. It's just a white LED, and but you can remove it and replace it just by winding another LED light.
How deep do the enclosure need to be for these to?
Check the product page, because I have on the product page a
technical detail tab. We have all the measurements.
Can I actually move this over?
Yeah, you want to move it over?
Yeah. So yeah, that way I'm not like half cut off. Okay, so that's the buttons.
Okay.
Big buttons, and we'll have even bigger buttons. I'm not quite done with my buttons.
Yeah. Just want to look at this photo for a second. Look at this. That's nice.
Zoom. Yeah, you can see it's not completely even. I mean, it doesn't look. This is, a photo, and photos always look weird with LEDs.
Yeah.
But it lights the center, but like at the edges, it's not completely lit up.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
Okay, I'll put this together later. It's a caster.
Yeah, it's a ball caster.
Yeah.
It's great for robotics projects.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll go the overhead.
I got many casters, and this is the one I liked. So this is a metal ball caster, so it's nice and durable. It'll go over carpet, wood, epoxy, whatever.
Yeah.
It fits nicely into this plastic holder, and then there's 2 screw mounts, and for the dimensions, check out the product page. I don't have them memorized, but it's a 3/4 inch metal ball. And what's nice about it is if you're using our continuous rotation servos, and the servos here, and you have the wheel, it'll be the right height for this caster.
Yeah.
So this is a good size. Maybe good for like a robot that weighs like a pound or 2. It's not for like a huge mega robot, but you'd have the caster in the front and then 2 wheels in the back, and then you'd use 2-wheel drive, and then this would just be a supporting.
Someone wants to know, is it loud inside of it? It's silent.
No, it's silent.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No. Shh. It's so quiet.
It could be used for a sneaky robot. Okay. So next up, Hacko tips.
Yeah.
We got some long-awaited Hacko tips. Let me remove us to show the glory of these photos.
This photo's actually better than what I could show on the overhead.
Yeah. So these are photos from John Jr. Look at this. This is quite
These
nice.
are nice photos.
Yeah.
And so that shows the SMT tip, and it's nice and small. There's also sort of standard screwdriver tip, good for basic through-hole stuff. There they are again.
Yeah.
And then finally there's, can you go back to the hoof one?
The hoof one?
The hoof.
Is this a hoof?
The first one is the kind of a hoof tip, or like I don't know, like oval tip. I don't know, but I call it a hoof tip. These are good for drag soldering, if you're into drag soldering, which is, some people are, some people are not. And it's also good for a larger through hole. So I'll show how you can switch out the tips on the overhead. So if you have your Hacko, it's not too bad. This I already loosened, but if you're doing it for the first time, you might want to get a pliers. And then you can remove this collar, and then this is the tip, and then this is the ceramic heater on the inside. These are good quality soldering irons. And then you replace the tip, and then screw it back on. Just make sure it's cold when you do this, of course, because the whole thing otherwise is really hot. And there you go. You are ready to go with your new soldering tip. So, yeah, I should suggest getting like both the hoof and the SMT tip, although the SMT tip is sort of what people will want if they want to do fine pitch soldering, because the default tip is the screwdriver tip. It's good for through hole, not really good for anything smaller than SOIC, even though these irons are very high quality and can do very fine pitch surface mount.
Everybody wants to know, and it's a personal question, I know, and we don't do personal questions. What tip do you use?
I use a Metcal,
Okay.
but I use basically the same as the SMT tip, and then I use the hoof tip. Yeah, these are the 3 tips. These are the equivalent of the tips that I use on the Metcals. Why I bought them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, if you're gonna have a soldering
I've never really needed to use any other sizes. The screwdriver is good for fast through hole. The hoof is good for when you have to heat up a lot, because the hoof is more cylindrical, so it has a lot of thermal mass. And then the fine pitch is good for getting in there and getting your TQFPs.
Yeah.
Mind your TQFPs.
Yeah. I don't. The etiquette is you're not supposed to ask women their age, but you can ask them what soldering tip their favorite
I
soldering
think
tip
you
is,
can
right?
do that.
I think it's fine.
I think you can do that.
Modern ages now is totally fine.
Okay.
Okay. Next up, you guys are gonna love this stuff.
Belts.
Belts.
Teeth.
Yeah, more mechanical stuff. People are loving the mechanical stuff, Lady Ada.
Yay.
Okay, so what do you want to
I
talk
spent
about?
all Christmas researching what stuff I wanted to carry in the store, and finally it all came in. It's all like 6 to 8 week lead time. This is a belt. Actually, this photo is so much better than the overhead. So yeah, we have these belts, and I decided not to go with MXL belts or S2M belts. I decided to go with the GT2 belts. These are 2mm pitch belts and pulleys. This is a nice strong belt, made in Japan, high quality, 6mm wide, 2mm pitch. The teeth are rounded, and it helps apparently with backlash. This belt is 1 meter long. 1.1 meters long. It's 1,164, which means it's like 550.
Okay.
To
Number one question: if you cut these, how do you rejoin them?
You don't rejoin these, but often people tend to use the 1 meter long because that's how long this makes it half meter long, or sorry, a little bit more than half meter long, like 2 feet long for like a 2 by 2 foot CNC type thing.
Yeah, so this is a standard size.
But if you're using it with something which only goes back and forth, it's not a continuous rotation, you could cut it and then attach it to your your motion bed.
Whatever thing you're
moving, and that's very common, and use like sort of a staple arrangement to do that. We might be carrying other sizes. We wanted to start with the most popular size. I'll only carry one that's half the size and then maybe a quarter the size, so that there's a couple other options. But we're starting with this.
So speaking of, look what we've got. We've got pulleys. So I'm gonna show these big photos here first. Look at these photos.
Yeah, these photos are actually kind of better than the overhead, which is why I like these photos.
Yeah, although the overhead is looking awesome now that we have more lighting. Yeah, look at this.
So there's 4 different pulleys, and the reason we have 4 is there's 4 sizes and 4 bores. Not like the pig, more like the center.
Okay,
pull.
we'll go to the overhead.
So I'll show, for example, so these match up with this belt. So you could you put this in here, and then you see. Nice, and then this, when you pull this, it rotates, or the other way around. You can rotate this and it'll pull. We have, for example, these larger pulleys, and you can see one has 8mm bore and one has 5mm. 5mm fits very nicely onto our stepper motors and most stepper motors in general. So you fit it on, and it does come with set screws, although I didn't grab them. And so then this rotates, and then you can tie it to something else. So there's a large one that's 5mm and a small one that's 5mm. Ooh, nice. And then we also have 8mm. So if you're using an 8mm shaft, which is common, we don't have them in the store yet because we haven't found a good supplier of high quality 8mm shafting. But once we do, you'll be able to attach this, and you'll be able to, for example, rotate this, and then it rotates. The belt, and the belt rotates like whatever CNC project you have. Since they're usually used for motion transfer using a belt, and I think these are good pairing. Just are very common sizes used in many CNC bots.
Next up, just 2 more products, and then we can do some questions. So look at these. What are these?
This was an interesting one. I had never seen these before, so I wasn't sure if people would like them, but they do. So this is interesting. This is an adjustable angle connector for the 20 by 20 aluminum extrusion that we put in the shop a couple weeks ago. So the part in the middle, it's sort of a hinge, but unlike a hinge that's meant to open and close all the time, this hinge is meant to be fixed once you've decided how you want to arrange it. So one side of the hinge goes onto the end of an extrusion, and the other one goes anywhere in the center. I can show it on the overhead a little bit.
Okay.
So, this is just, you attach this sort of standard extrusion with like a T-nut and stuff, and then this part, it's a little loosened, which is why I'm able to adjust it. But you would set it to be however you want it for your project. So you're like, okay, this is the angle I want. And then on the other end, this isn't tapped because I'm still waiting for my tap set. But you would tap this for M5, metric 5, which is standard size. And then this fits onto here, and then this provides, you tighten this up, and then it provides a lot of support so that you can use, sort of arbitrary angles, because right now all of the fixtures we have are meant for like 90 degrees. This would let you do, 20 degrees, 40 degrees, 60 degrees, whatever. You tighten it. It's not a super strong load-bearing attachment. So this isn't something you want to like put a lot of torque on, because this will move unless you use thread lock or something. This connection's strong, this connection's strong, but it's a hinge. It's a motion hinge. So you'll want to, it's something that will hold the structure, but it's not something that you would want to use if you're going to put a lot of force on that joint. So just keep that in mind. I mean, a lot of this is, if you've built stuff, you kind of have an intuition about it. So yeah, but I think this is an interesting. Fortunately, they're a little expensive, but I couldn't help it. They're really cool. They're a great addition. I think hopefully if they're popular, we'll be able to lower the price because we're buying so much more.
Okay, and then last up,
extrusion.
These are the new version 2 Adafruit Flora NeoPixels. They're so cute.
They are so small.
Okay, and here they are in action. Here's a photo of them.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the version 1, but close enough. So hold on, let me set this up. So yeah, this is the new version 2 pixels, and let me show them on the overhead. I'll actually show that plate sort of like we were demoing before. So this is 20 pixels, and they're really small, so they're kind of tough to show. But the cool thing is that unlike the previous version, which had a chip on the back, these have nothing on the back because the chip is actually built into these awesome little LEDs, and so they use a slightly different timing protocol, so they're not backwards compatible. But going forward, we'll be only promoting these. We'll still carry the old version, but I think these are going to be much less expensive because they're only single-sided. They're also less likely to break because there's nothing on the back that is going to get in the way of your fabric. But yeah, inside here, the little black dot is the chip, and we talked about these because we have them in strips. But yeah, so we have them in little pixels, and so these are sewable, and they work great. And Paint Your Dragon wrote a great library for them. It's the NeoPixel library in GitHub. And so you can talk to these with an 8 megahertz or 16 megahertz processor, and they're meant for use with the Flora. And then even though these are not the same version, I thought I would just show the idea you have here, where you have pixels that are, rainbowy and connected together and chained together without having to use more than one pin on your microcontroller. So we'll be doing a lot of cool Flora NeoPixel projects, and one of the great things is with this new version, we can do double-sided electronics here in the Adafruit factory, but it kind of sucks doing double-sided. Now you can fit all the parts on a single side. Yay!
Okay.
One side.
So
makes
that
it much easier to use.
With new products. That was it. That's great. Code Snake. Anything you saw that's in the store, 10% off. Only till midnight, though.
I think all these items are in the stock.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do questions. Ask your engineering questions. How much power does an Arduino give off and use?
How much does it use?
Yeah, how much power does an Arduino give off and use?
Well, it doesn't really give off power. It uses power, and it usually uses about like 20, 25 milliamps.
Yeah.
Yes, you can multiply that by 5 volts.
Are the pads nose ring compatible for the NeoPixels?
I don't understand that question.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay, what do you guys think of the prototype PCBs from OSH Park? Have you heard of them? Look at my interview on Make with Lane.
Yes.
We love it. Next up, do you have a recommended source of 8mm ground round shafts yet?
We don't. That's why I said we don't.
Yeah, we're only going to stock the best, and so we're evaluating much.
Once we have them in stock, you'll know because we'll post about it.
All right. Have you thought about offering a Molex breakout?
Molex. I don't know what that means.
Have you
Molex is a company that makes electronics, so they have like thousands of parts. So I don't know. We probably have breakouts for some stuff if they do stuff in sort of standard pin sizes, but they have like millions of components.
Yeah. Phil, can you talk about possible ideas to help out the post office? Just type make zine, makers, hackers, entrepreneurs, post office, and I have a full big article where I tried hard. And this was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, all the way to like renting out mobile storage space for like Dropbox and like weird stuff like that, because weird wins in the end. Next up, is there a multicolor EL panel?
No, EL panels only come in basic blue, they actually come in aqua, and then they're coated. So you can take an aqua panel and then, or a white panel and then draw on it, but they're only going to come in one color.
Okay.
Because they're manufactured in sheets.
Next up, can you guys carry a good tapping set?
You know, McMaster Carg will sell you, or your hardware store will sell you a good tapping set. I mean, it depends on whether you want metric or imperial.
Okay.
But yeah, your hardware store will have it for sure.
What is the purpose of the VT pin on the RF 315 megahertz receivers?
I don't know. Check the data sheet that goes with them. I think I posted up the data sheet for the chip inside. You can read all about all the different pins and what they're used for.
Next up, do you plan to make a Flora kit, and when might it be back in stock? Well, we do sell the standalone Flora kits. We're probably going to have some.
We also have a GPS floor kit.
Yeah.
Sign up, and you'll be notified as soon as we have more in stock.
Yeah, probably making those in a little bit. They sold out fast. Let's see. My show and tell notes this week use OS Stage Park. Yep, that was from the show and tell participants. How many of those pixels can the Flora drive?
I think it can drive like a couple hundred, maybe.
And are they individually addressable?
They're individually addressable.
Okay, great. How do you make those Q symbols? It's Q, letter Q with a colon, and then it makes the little Q symbol. Next up, how does a hobbyist solder a BGA?
You'd probably like use paste and then like a toaster oven or something.
Okay. Next up, can you talk a little bit about the ESD control used at Adafruit while handling products?
Yeah, we have ESD tables, and we use ESD foam for stuff and ESD bags. So far, we have not had any ESD problems. Using ESD tables, we have like EE benches.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Yeah, we've never had a problem.
We package everything that's static sensitive gets packaged into static anti-stat bags.
Well over 200,000 orders.
Yeah.
No ESD problems. Knock on ESD.
The most sensitive stuff actually comes to us pre-bagged, like Raspberry Pis and Arduinos. They're pre-packaged.
Yeah. So. Okay. Have you considered carrying a 4-pin Molex connector, the type used in computers?
Yeah, we have an ATX Molex cable in the store.
How is the NRE reflow working out? NRE reflow working out.
I don't know what NRE.
Oh, I think new. Maybe you meant to type new. How's the new reflow working?
It's working great.
Yeah. Okay. Will there be more behind-the-scenes videos at Adafruit? Yes.
Sure.
Do you think the current DIY home electronics movement is a fad, like the Rubik's Cube, or is it here to say like the internet?
People still use Rubik's Cubes. Rubik's Cube still sells really well.
The maker movement is 10 years old, and all there is more investment, more venture capital, more things like Kickstarter, more hardware companies.
Actually, isn't the Rubik's Cube like the best-selling product of all time? We were reading about this.
Yeah.
I read an article. It's in the top 3 best-selling products of all time. Like more so than anything else. It's just actually kind of fascinating.
Yeah. So I think now that the internet is around, and now that you can do manufacturing, now that you can have a 3D printer, now that you can get all this stuff,
yeah.
I think there's no going back. We're just going to see a menagerie of hobbyist electronics that fill very specific needs. This is the best time ever.
Well, if it's a fad, it's a fun fad, so I don't mind. I don't think it's a fad, though.
It's never going to go away.
I mean, people have been doing hobbyist electronics since like the 60s.
Yeah. Next up. Have you seen the Crazy File open source nano quadcopter? Will you make your own? We're looking into it. You'll know when we get into a market, kind of like we're starting to have mechanical stuff. You can see how we operate. We had wearable stuff a year before we launched Flora.
Yeah, I think the stuff about small quadcopters is that if you're small, you can't lift a heavy battery, which means that the fly time is usually really low. So it's a tough thing to balance because you don't want it to just fly for like 30 seconds or 3 minutes. You want to get like a couple minutes worth of, like 10, 15 minutes worth of fly time. That's hard to do when you don't have a lot of weight bearing capacity.
Yeah. Okay. And what protocol do the Flora Pixel use? And we'll end the.
It's like a Manchester coding.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Can Becky teach us all how to sew so we can make wearables? Yes, she has.
She has a tutorial. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the Flora tutorials is how to sew.
All right. Oh, I'll do one more. Have you considered putting out a catalog in the mail? of course considered it, but the answer is no. We believe the future is online, and
Well, we add a new product like every day.
Yeah.
So if we mailed out a catalog, it would be by default like it would be missing like 100 items.
You can download we have a PDF catalog that you put on your own. You can put it on a Kindle. You can do all sorts of things. You can put it on any type of mobile device. We work back from a future where everything is probably digital
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. We may do more things like a giant video catalog. We'll take advantage of the fact that we have all these big internet connections and giant screens and all
We
that.
have 2 internet connections now.
Actually, we have 4, Lady Ada.
No, but they're like
With a
2.
5th coming.
We have 2 big ones.
Yeah.
DSL doesn't count. DSL is not an internet connection. It's like a way to ping a site. It's like an email contact.
Okay. All right. Well, it's now trivia question time. Great
Okay,
questions,
great.
everyone. I got to do the trivia question.
Ooh, what's the prize?
Trivia question. Lady Ada, what's the rules?
The rules are, if you've entered this fabulous trivia question contest before, can't enter again, only win once. So sit on your hands or go make yourself a sandwich. And the first person to answer correctly with spelling and all that good stuff
They're going to
wins.
win 3 of the big buttons.
What, 3 of them?
Yeah, you get to choose.
Okay, 3. You can get 3 red ones, 1 green, 1 yellow, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 blue, whatever. You get buttons.
Yeah. So, the question is, first person to type it in the chat wins that we see. Who is the first woman to receive an MD? There it is.
He typed it before you asked the
Snogman.
question.
No, it was right there. It's as I was looking over.
Anyone who's paying attention kind of knows your pattern, so
Yeah.
Yes, you get extra credit if you're like paying
Snogman.
attention.
Email support@adafruit.com and let us know what 3 buttons you want. We make it really easy. See, I'll tell you one of the problems. We made the trivia questions really hard before, and it was just like,
Yeah,
okay,
it took too long.
we can't leave until
Yeah, that's
someone
true,
wins.
that's true.
So
It's actually the easier the better, because then we can pack up. Yeah, like the questions, like John Jr. asked a question, it was like nobody knew it, and like nobody could even Google it, and we were like stuck here for like 10 minutes.
yeah, for the folks who yes, we sell these. So if you didn't win, you can buy them.
10% off.
Yeah.
Snake.
Yeah, the code is snake.
right.
So
Okay.
with that, we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you, everyone. Another great week.
Press the button.
Yeah, the shiny red candy-like button.
This is the show ender
Is that
button.
that's the universe eraser button?
No, this is the show ender
The
button.
show ender button. Okay. We have a little video from MOSFET. Now this came from my phone and it got all skewed, but he's still going to make an appearance. So this is the time of the show where we would normally drag a cat, and if he sees a shadow, we do the show again. But this is just MOSFET lounging around today. Say hello to everybody. Let me get your petting thing. All right. You're not on the show. But say hello to everybody. All right.
Whoa, that's like all weird looking.
Yeah, oh, it's a MOSFET dream. So with that, thank you
Hey, you know
everyone.
what? That's even better.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, everyone who showed up on the show and tell. Thank you, everyone, for the great questions. Thank you, everyone who watch every week. This is great. We'll have another great show next week. We'll have show and tell next week. Don't forget to join the Adafruit
Community page.
The
Plus
company page, and subscribe to youtube.com/Adafruit.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos coming out.
Yeah, we're about to hit 2 million video views.
2 million.
2 million. We were just at like 200,000, and now we're like zoom. So subscribe, because we're putting a lot of stuff there first. So if you want to tune into some of the cool things we're doing, and we also put like very quick and short videos of things that go on here at the factory and things like that. So with that, here is your moment of Zener.